and welcome to Talking to the Dead Season 3. If you are new to the podcast, welcome. My name is Janet Kubik, and if you're returning to the podcast, then thanks very much for coming back. It's been more than a hot minute since we've been around with a new season, but I'm really excited to be back and to sharing with you today. You might notice a little difference if you have been with us before for the first two seasons, in that I'm sitting here by myself. Well, I mean, not technically by myself, because again, if you've watched the first couple of seasons, you know that there's lots of peeps hanging out around me, but one particular person is not on camera with me this time, and that's Joe. So Joe is still here. He's still hanging around. He's taking care of things from the technical end, but we decided to just sort of evolve a little bit, shift things up, change it up, and take things in a bit of a new direction this season. So for now, it's me and potentially some other peeps in person, maybe at some point, and also very likely from the unseen. So as we were doing for the last season, at least anyway, I can't remember back to season 1 fully. We are sort of going into this today flying by the seat of our pants. I've kind of come to the realization in my life in particular that trying to overplan things isn't really the most successful option for me. And so I've come into this today, again, not really knowing exactly where we're going to go with it, who's going to show up, if anyone's going to show up. I mean, they typically do, so I'm not that worried about that part of it. But just kind of leaving the floor open for whatever comes in, whatever flows, whatever happens naturally, and just take it from there. It has been a while, again, since we've done any recording, for a variety of reasons. And I think one of those big reasons is just life. Life is happening, and there's lots of different things going on for me personally. And also there's a lot of things going on in the collective or in the world at large, as I'm sure everybody is very well aware of. So I think the first thing that I would like to do is just extend my love and compassion to everybody right now, as the world is sort of, in the midst of this transition. We're traversing this evolution, which, as I've said before, to me, even though it doesn't feel like it at times or seem like it, does have a really positive undertone, like the sense or feeling that we are going in a positive direction, even though it feels like we're amidst mass chaos right now. Kind of like, discomfort is a catalyst for change. And we're all aware that so much needs to change, is in need of changing, for us personally, as well as for us as a planet, as well as us for humanity. And so that discomfort shows up to kind of move us, sometimes gently, sometimes not so gently, into new directions. So again, I would just like to put it out there that the sense I'm getting is that we are going in a positive direction, although the road is certainly a bumpy one. And one of the biggest pieces that I'm finding, and also part of, sort of the hiatus that we've taken, is the idea of self-care. And self-care, sometimes we're programmed to believe that care of the self is selfish. And in my experience and understanding, it's two very different things. And self-care, taking care of oneself, checking in on your own self, following your own rhythms as much as you can, is that care aspect. And it's essential. We can't help anybody else. We can't take care of the world or others or anybody really unless we're taking good care of our own selves. So that's just another thing I wanted to bring forward before we get started today. And so a couple of different things are happening. As you can tell, you can hear that I'm getting some catches in my throat, which is often a sign that spirit is kind of coming in and maybe has a little something to say. And I'm also starting to get a little tripped up on my words, which again, for me is another indication that spirit is stepping forward. They are asking you to take just a quick second to remind people how they communicate. And they're saying in this particular situation, they're asking me to explain again a little bit about how they communicate with me in particular. So just briefly again, after traversing and still traversing what I would call a soul awakening, there's lots of different terms for it, but that's the one I've just sort of settled on because it makes sense to me personally. Oh, geez, and now I'm getting completely distracted. So that means to me that spirit is stepping in, the energy is amping up in the room. As spirit says, they are always there, they're always present, they're always with us, around us, supporting us. But when we invite them in, they are able to step more forward into our experience. They're able to connect with us on a deeper level or a more intensified level. And because we're talking about them, because we're doing the podcast today, they know that this means that this is a time that they kind of have the floor, as I said earlier. So with that said, I'm going to give myself a second and see who or what wants to come forward today. There's a lot of excitement in the air that I'm feeling. There's a lot of excited energy coming forward. And this energy is saying, you know, it feels sort of contradictory given the state of the world, so to speak, at this time. However, they are asking that we find moments of excitement and to allow ourselves those moments of excitement, because sometimes we get a little bit caught up in the idea that the world feels like it's falling apart and we are best to not be excited. We're not supposed to be excited. And they're sort of saying, no, let's kind of scrap that idea. Let's find those moments of excitement, or actually she says, and it's a she energy, so I'm not sure who it is yet, but this she energy says, female energy is saying, actually more so allow the moments to find you. So don't feel the need to block out the positive energy or the excitement because you feel the need to be sort of immersed in the chaos or the negative energies that are so present right now. Allow yourself to both find and have it find you, that sense of excitement, positivity, and joy. She says, for they are the currency of the new future. So that's an interesting term and beautiful. She says, we're getting away from so many things that are no longer serving. And in doing so, we need to make room, and we are in fact making room for new energies to grow, to be rebirthed into the human experience, to be expanded upon, to be brought into the forefront of the human experience. So don't shun these energies away out of a sense of responsibility, or she's giving me a word and I can't quite catch it. It's almost like camaraderie, but that's not exactly it. It's the idea of, you know, don't feel like you need to immerse yourself in what the negative aspects or what other people are going through, as a sense of sort of solidarity, maybe is what she's trying to get across to me. Allow yourself to embellish those moments, allow them to grow, allow them to flourish in your own experience. For you're all coming to realize at this time in humanity that the journey of humans and humanity as a collective is, of course, of the utmost importance, of the greatest importance, because you are a collective. You are one working together in this planetary experience. However, in order to catalyze that change and that growth, really truthfully, the answers lie within. The work that needs to be done needs to happen from the inside out, so to speak. And it's cute because she's actually showing me a visual of that movie, Inside Out. We need to allow those inner voices to speak to us more clearly and to recognize them and accept them for who and what they are. And she says all of them. And as she's saying that, it's funny because she's showing me all of the different characters in that animated film. So she's saying it's not just about joy. It's about accepting sadness. It's about accepting jealousy, grief, pain, loss, anger. It's about accepting all of these emotions inside of us and learning how to communicate with them how to understand the messages that they are sharing with us and bringing forth as we traverse our own personal, unique, individual transformations. It's within these transformations that the collective, as you call it, or have chosen to call it at this time, will grow, will be repaired, will be restored. And she has just sort of paused. Just for me personally, I'm finding this interesting. Often, see, I can't even talk. Often when I'm channeling, I feel like I go into a little more of a concentrated state. You'll notice that I potentially stare off to the side or kind of hone in on the energy. This time around, it was a little different experience for me where I felt like I was a little more present in the receiving and sharing of the information. I even felt called to look to the camera a few times, or the back and forth between what she was saying to me and my speaking sort of directly to you as an audience or to a listener was a little more blurred. So I like to just share this kind of stuff with you because this is all new to me too. I can tell you, I never imagined that in my lifetime, I would have this ability, talent, gift, whatever you want to call it, to be able to communicate with the unseen, with all of these energies that exist outside of, what we consider normal. So I am continually fascinated on a daily basis, on a moment by moment basis, and things shift and they change. How I receive things, how I interpret things, it all is shifting and changing. And I think that's another really important piece, is that we become so rigid. We've become so goal oriented, so completion oriented. And it's really just not the nature of the world that we live in. It is ever changing. Nothing is finite. Is that the right word? Finite? That's kind of what popped into my head. There's always ebb and flow. There's always change. There's always movement. There's always growth. And it's about sort of getting more comfortable with that ride, because it is a ride. So I just wanted to share that with you again, to know that when I'm here talking to you, I'm on the journey too. So it's not like I've got it all figured out and now I'm coming on to say, well, this is how it's supposed to be and this is what I've learned and you need to follow this. And no, it's to show you the journey. It's to show you the journey that I'm on. And my intention is that by sharing, somehow it will be helpful to you in experiencing your own personal journey. So as I just said that, it's really cute because the image that came forward was of just like a big period. Like at the end of a sentence, statement done, you've said what you needed to say. I have absolutely no idea how long I've been chatting with you today, but I am getting the wrap it up sign from the other side. So that indicates to me that whatever messages they felt were important to be brought forward at this time have been shared. And with that being said, again, I'd like to thank you so much for coming back and hanging out with me here, and Joe too, because he's still around, on Talking to the Dead for this season. And if you're new, then welcome. And as I say that, I am getting the body tingles all over. It just feels like, again, a sense of excitement, a sense of validation, that being here is a helpful thing. And I'm starting to ramble. So they're, again, giving me the wrap it up sign. So thank you so much for checking in with me today. And we'll see you again soon. Bye for now. Hi there, and welcome to jitters. Okay, start again. Take two.